In the last few days, the race to build humanoid robots has changed forever. And in this video, you will finally understand why the future that seemed distant is in fact splitting into two opposite paths right now. You will understand who is pulling ahead with robots that really work and who is being left behind with public disasters. I know what you're thinking. Here comes another video of a pretty robot that will never leave the lab. You're tired of seeing demos that look incredible, but in the end are just marketing and go nowhere. But that's exactly why this video is crucial. What happened this week was not a lab demonstration. It was a mass deployment in China, a total collapse in Russia, and a public billionaire fight between chief executive officers in the United States. The race is no longer about who has the coolest video, but who is actually delivering. I analyze this market every day to separate what is hype from what is real. And what I'm going to show you today are the facts that prove the game has changed. Let's start with what left people most stunned. The robot G1 from the company Mindon. Before I show you the details, the first question is, right now, which side of this robot war impresses you more? The absurd speed of China or the drama and feuds of the billionaire startups? Put in the comments which of these futures you think will define the next decade. We already knew its parts were good on paper. It has special cameras that measure depth, a three-dimensional LiDAR, light detection and ranging system, which is like a radar that uses light to see the world in 3 dimensions, force control so it knows if it's grabbing something hard or gently, and much more. But what really surprised everyone was how they trained the robot and how they showed it to the world. They didn't make that normal lab video all tidy and rehearsed where the robot repeats the same perfect movement 1,000 times. It was different. They put the robot inside a real house, a normal house, with furniture, plants, and even an unmade bed. And the robot started doing various tasks, one after another. You see it walking to a window, aligning its hands perfectly, and opening the curtains. The movement is smooth, not that jerky, robotic motion. Right after, it goes to check the plants, and here comes the important detail. It adjusts its grip so as not to crush the leaves, and then uses a watering can without spilling a single drop of water. This shows very high-level force control and precision. After that, it transitions to office tasks, moving light packages. The interesting part is that it does this while maintaining perfect balance and planning where to step, even while carrying the object. But the part that most impressed people was when it dealt with fabrics. Robots generally hate soft, flexible, and unpredictable materials like clothes or sheets. It's a nightmare for them. But the G1 in the video simply goes to the bed, pulls the sheets, shakes them out to straighten them, and then folds them. It navigates around the bed and furniture naturally, without pausing, without seeming confused. The most incredible thing is that even when it interacts with children, as shown in the demo, its movements are careful, predictable. This shows it was programmed to be safe and gentle around people, which is very important if the idea is to have one of these at home. The Mindon company still hasn't revealed exactly how they taught the robot all this, but seeing how it acts well in different situations, it seems they focused heavily on what they call environmental generalization. What does that mean? Instead of the robot just memorizing a task like fold sheet, it learned to understand the environment around it and adapt. A real house is messy, things change places. If the robot froze every time it saw something out of place, it would be useless. This G1 seems to be one of the first that really fits into a real space. Of course, this all raises many important questions. How long does its battery last? 2 hours, 8 hours? Can it make the bed 100 times in a row without failing? And the main question, how much will it cost? The price of a car or the price of a house? Mindon hasn't answered any of this yet, but they showed a path where the idea of having a robot helper at home starts to seem more real and not just pretty marketing. While the G1 from Mindon became famous for being a home robot, another Chinese company, Unitree, which is known for its robot dogs, went in a completely different direction. They announced the G1D. The idea here isn't to have a robot making your bed. The focus is industry, warehouses, the places that store goods, and they thought in a very practical way. Why worry about the difficult balance of two legs if the robot is going to work on a flat factory floor? It's easier to put wheels on it. The main version of the G1D is a robot that looks like a person from the waist up, but it's on a base with wheels, and it's made to be fast and repeat tasks all day. The mobile version can move at 1.5 meters per second. That's fast enough to keep up with the pace of a warehouse. Its arms are strong, lifting about 3 kilos each, and its waist rotates a lot, which allows it to grab things on high shelves up to 2 meters high. The smartest part of its design is the vision. It has cameras on its head as expected, but it also has cameras on its wrists. This helps the robot see objects from multiple angles, check the quality of things, or pick up items with much more precision. They also thought about work time. The battery lasts up to 6 hours, which is enough for a work shift. And Unitree isn't just selling the robot, they launched a complete computer software package. The idea is that companies themselves can use the G1D to collect information from their own warehouse and teach the robot new tasks, specific tasks for that company. If Mindon showed what's possible to do at home, and Unitree showed what's practical for industry, a third company, UBTech, arrived to show what's real in large quantities. UBTech, also from China, confirmed that it has already sent hundreds of its humanoid robots, the Walker STWO model, to real factories. Hundreds. This is no longer a test. It's not a demonstration. It's mass production, for real. The demand is real. We are talking about $113 million in orders this year alone. These orders come from companies that want robot workers who don't get tired and work non-stop on the assembly lines. Who is buying? The car manufacturing companies are at the front. BYD, Volkswagen, Foxconn, all of them are using these robots to help with logistics and to keep the factories running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Walker STWO is a big, strong robot. It's made to handle the heavy work and carry heavy objects, but it still manages to be careful with its fingers. But the most impressive feature of this robot, in my opinion, is the battery swap system. The Walker STWO simply walks to a power station, removes its own spent battery, grabs a new full battery, and goes back to work by itself in minutes. This solves the biggest problem for robots in industry: the time spent recharging. For a factory, a stopped robot is lost money. This automatic battery swap system changes everything. UBTech's numbers show this success. The money the company earned rose 27.5% in the first half of 2025, and the company's stock value on the exchange soared. It's important to know that UBTech was the first humanoid robot company to sell shares on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange in the year 2023. Source: Reuters. UBTech surges on Hong Kong debut in world's first humanoid robot IPO. This shows that the financial world is already taking this robot revolution very seriously. And if you are also taking this subject seriously and want to see how far this revolution will go, whether it's with robots folding sheets at home or swapping their own batteries in factories, go ahead and leave a like and leave the hype. It's the signal we need to know that you guys like this heavy-duty technology analysis, right? So we have China showing off incredible robots, right? Now, let's look at the other side of this story. While the Chinese were showing robots working in homes and factories, Russia decided to show the world its first humanoid robot with artificial intelligence, which is the computer's ability to think and learn, called Edo. And what happened at the official presentation in Moscow? The robot fell, it plummeted on stage in front of everyone, and the worst part, it was playing the theme song from the movie Rocky, which made the scene even more embarrassing. The robot lost its balance and hit the floor, even leaving pieces behind. The team ran desperately to cover the robot with a cloth and drag it off stage, but it was too late. The video spread all over the internet. It was a complete embarrassment. Of course, the next day the company tried to explain. They said it was a calibration problem, that the robot is still in its testing phase. They talked about its qualities, that 77% of the parts are made in Russia, that it has 19 motors. The chief executive officer of the company even said the robot can smile, think, and look surprised. Well, after that fall, I imagine the robot was indeed surprised. This whole situation in Russia, when compared to China, shows how difficult this field of robots is. It's not enough to have a pretty robot. Making it stand up, balance, and walk properly is the hardest part. And as if all this technological competition wasn't enough, the robot world also had a big public fight between rival company owners. It all started with Brett Adcock. He is the chief executive officer, the boss of Figure, one of the hottest new robotics companies of the moment. It's the one that has support from giants like OpenAI, which makes ChatGPT, and Microsoft, and that recently put its robots to work on the BMW car factory's production line. Source: Figure AI. Figure 1 enters BMW manufacturing facility. Adcock saw that video from UBTech, the Chinese company that sent hundreds of robots, and publicly doubted them. He implied that some of the robots in the video looked fake, that the scene might have been staged just to impress people and investors. This made things tense. Agility Robotics, another very strong competitor, creator of the Digit robot, joined the conversation and made a sarcastic joke mocking Adcock. His response was direct and aggressive. He publicly wrote that Agility Robotics would be bankrupt in less than 1 year. From there, it turned into a public fight on the social network X, the former Twitter. Other companies tried to calm things down, but Adcock ended the discussion by posting an image from a famous series, Sopranos, with a caption that basically said, "Next time you come in, you come heavy or not at all." It's a strange situation, but it shows how serious the competition has become. We are no longer talking about school projects. We are talking about billions of dollars, about who will create the workers of the future. And the owners of these companies are fighting hard to see who will dominate this market. The fight is ugly. Now that you've seen it all, the robot that makes the bed, the robot with wheels for industry, the robot that swaps its own battery, and the one that faints on stage. In your opinion, what is the winning strategy? Is it the perfect human robot for our home? Or is it the worker robot focused on a single task in the factory? Send your complete analysis here in the comments. And look, following this fight is going to be impressive. If you liked understanding not only the technology, but also this drama and the billion-dollar competition behind the robots, do the following. Leave a like and leave the hype. It's the fuel we need to bring the next chapter of this dispute. Thanks for watching and see you next time.